Hey, welcome to the Philosophy Podcast. I am your host, Controversy, and to my right, as per usual, my co-host, Mr.
Darren Love!
And together, we are the Philosophy Podcast. Thank you to you guys for tuning in once again this week. Thank you for tuning in to a brand new episode, guys. And yeah, without further ado, let's get this show on the road, mate. What is on the agenda for this week's episode? What is this week's hot topic?
Well, I was thinking about like the internet.
The internet.
It's an interesting subject.
So this week we're going to be talking about
the internet.
The internet, ladies and gentlemen. You know.
It's quite an interesting subject, isn't it?
Most definitely, the internet is a profound thing. You know, it's
It's changed our world in a dramatic, big way, I think.
Oh, significantly. Yeah, it's you know, to say it's changed the world, like we were saying earlier, it's a bit of an understatement to say it's changed the world. You know,
not just changed the world; it's changed my life in a big way too.
And many others, many others,
So, I think I got the internet about 25 years ago, yeah.
Mm.
And when it first came in, when it was first available.
I was going to say 25 years ago, mate. It was probably it was not very good.
Well, I didn't think much about it, but
yeah.
I didn't think like there's going to be a messenger on it, all this sort of stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I mean, you didn't think all these things would come to existence, like Facebook and all this,
Yeah.
But I think we had MSN,
Mm.
and I used to go to work and I'd come home and my wife was chatting with somebody else, so it kind of opened the doors, really, It's like, it's going on all over the world, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? People were chatting each other up now,
Well, people were now more connected than ever before. So, like you said, you could have MSN Messenger back then, like back in like the late. I was gonna say, when did Messenger come out? Was it early 2000s or late 90s?
Early 2000s.
Early 2000s. So
it could have been like 90s, actually. I don't know.
Yeah, but like you said, back then people were more connected than ever before because once you had an email address, you could then sign up for you could then sign up, like you said, download MSN Messenger, sign up for it with your email address, and then you could potentially talk to loads of different people, across the world,
Which my ex-wife did, and basically I lost everything because of it, really.
Because of the internet.
Yeah, I think so,
Yeah.
But
it's like everything in it. It's got lots of pros and lots of cons to it. The internet.
Yeah. I think it dissolved a lot of marriages and relationships all over the world. And that's that.
Had a huge impact. Yeah.
I mean, it's all right if you get the internet and you're with somebody that's going to be faithful. But it gives a lot of temptation.
Well, like we were saying last time, you can't blame the internet though, because it was up to the person. The person chose to use the internet. Let's say the person was unfaithful or committed infidelity or whatever in their relationship through the internet. They chose to use the internet as a medium to be unfaithful through. It wasn't the internet's fault, if you see what I mean. That person chose to use it for that particular purpose, if you see what I mean. To, if that makes sense, Oh, yeah.
But yeah, and like it's changed me because, like, for instance, I could read a little bit, okay.
Yeah.
I said before when I left school, okay, I couldn't really read or write very well. A little bit I could, alright, but it's helped me to learn to read and write, and it's also educated me about history and a lot of other subjects, do you know what I mean? Because you can do a lot of research on the internet. A lot more than you can in a library, I think.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
When you've got Google at your fingertips, you see what I mean? You can go where you want.
Oh, definitely. So much information available. It's infinite, I guess, endless.
It is a good learning tool, I think. Yeah, definitely. And I think, like, in the last 10 years or so, I've learned so much, with the help of the internet, of course, and computers, whatever. But yeah, it's helped me step up a new level, and learn about the world around me a lot more.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yeah. Become more knowledgeable about certain things through the internet.
Yeah, and plus, since my divorce,
yeah,
I've had four 4 or 5 relationships. You know, the last 5 relationships are all women that, you know, girls that I met on the internet, basically, you know. And even I met, I was talking to this girl from Dallas.
Oh yeah.
On Facebook, you know, and she came 3,000 miles to visit me twice, you know.
Twice, really.
You know, so that's the power of the internet today, do you know what I mean?
Exactly. Like you met someone online.
Yeah.
Spoke to them for how long? How long do you think roughly you were speaking before she
said
made
hi
up?
to me first, right, whatever.
But I mean, how long do you think it was before? Like how long was it? Like you guys were talking for how long before she actually decided to come?
About 6 months.
That's what I'm saying. So like, all it took was 6 months of correspondence via the internet for her to come all the way from Dallas in Texas in America to the south of UK.
Yeah, and we had a really, really nice time together actually. She's still my friend today, you know, whatever. But that's the power of the internet where, you know, in this app, you know, people are having, you know, meeting people from wherever in this world and meeting up.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
The first girlfriend I had, right, from the internet again, on Match.com. And I had a relationship with her for 4 years, over 4 years, you know. That was before Alice from Dallas come afterwards.
Yeah.
You know, but I'm just sort of saying
that predominantly most of your relationships after your marriage came through the internet. Like a lot of people's, especially even today, but even back then, it's always, ever since, like you said, ever since people have been able to connect with each other on a global scale through the internet, it's not only formed many relationships, but also broken, like you said, had a detrimental effect on a lot of relationships where people didn't have access to people at one point, so people were less likely to be unfaithful, if you see what I mean, because they had less access to people on a global scale. But when the internet brought in that option of being able to talk to someone on the other side of the planet, to be able to see someone's photos or whatever the case may be, and think, oh, that person's, you know, let's send them a message or whatever. Like, people have now become more accessible than ever before. So, you know, it's all, you know, brought a lot of people, like the pros and the cons, brought a hell of a lot of people together, formed a lot of good relationships, marriages. People have had kids that have come through relationships that have come through online, if you see what I mean, you know.
About families, you know.
Families, like,
you know, children are actually being born in this world
through internet relationships, you know. That's how it started, you know.
You know, can you imagine that being born because your parents met on the internet?
Met on the internet, and then they
how crazy is that?
Liked each other. They spoke to each other for a little while, and then they eventually agreed to meet face to face, and then you know.
You know, it's happened to me. You know, like I've had quite a few dates, really. You know, like because of the internet.
Yeah.
You know.
Mm.
I mean, I used to, you know, date different girls, you know, and see. Sometimes we didn't get on.
Yeah, of course.
Or you know, she didn't like me, or whatever, you know. But you know, it's kind of like it's opened a new market, isn't it, for dating?
Oh, definitely.
If you see what I mean.
Yeah.
You know, a new industry again. You know. And
well, not only that, but like think about like how on a business scale as well. Think about how much business is transacted through the internet today. Most business today is transacted via the internet. I'd say at least 90 to 95% of it is conducted via the internet today, if you see what I mean. So like, you know, it's just, there's so many different aspects of our society that the internet has affected or has caused it to grow and evolve in it, you know, whether it be for the better or for the worse kind of thing, you know.
Like I say, most of the shops in the town are struggling to keep open because of the internet, because everyone's buying online. You know, and
people aren't shopping.
And you know, they're being delivered. You know, there's a lot more van drivers and more van companies today.
A lot more delivery companies, and
you know, so it's kind of changed our world in a different way, where we can stay in, order a tin of soup from up the road, and it gets delivered to us.
Yeah, you can't even get it to a point where it is like that today, actually. You know.
Yeah. You know, you can deliver. You know, order a light bulb from, you know, whatever, you know,
Amazon,
online,
and it'll come the next day.
And funny enough, sometimes I find it like cheaper to order online than it is to walk up the shop, you know.
Funny enough, sometimes that is the case.
Or order it from China, even, and it's cheaper, you know, to get it from China than it is over the road.
Locally, you'll have to wait a little bit longer
Yeah.
If it comes from China, because you usually have 3 to 4 weeks usually on things that come from China. Well, if you're coming directly from China anyway. But still, like you said, usually it's cheaper. If you can wait, then it's cheaper.
Yeah.
But yeah, the internet, mate, it's
a powerful place.
It's like you said, it's one of those things where it can be used for good or for bad. The internet. But I think the benefit of the internet is the information. The amount of information and knowledge and everything else that is on the internet that people have access to is unbelievable. And I think people don't always. I think the younger generation today have a better understanding of the internet and how it works and etc. How technology works. A lot more than the older generation. But it's phenomenal. Like, we've got so much information at our fingertips that we can literally be educated about anything you're passionate about, anything you want to know more about, anything you need to do research on for school or higher education or just general interest or whatever the case may be. Like, it's there on the internet. You can find out pretty much anything today. And even things that the government might not even want you to know, let's say, per se, you can find on the internet today. Like talking about like conspiratorial type stuff, you can find all kind of stuff on the internet today. There's so much information out there today, and it's also being careful as well with the information out there today, because there's a lot of conflicting information today. I think you have to be very responsible with kind of like what you look at and what you research and stuff like that, and not only believe something because you've seen it or heard it for the first time. A lot of people have that problem, I think, sometimes, of the first time they hear something that it might sound right or it might sound factual, but they haven't actually done any research behind it, if you see what I mean. To say, for certain that it is true or it is factual based on what they've seen or heard. And I think that's a problem today as well in society. Like, people are quick to, and it's good, don't get me wrong, it's good because it shows that people have a thirst for like knowledge and information, and people want to be more educated and more knowledgeable today, and they want to be, to kind of exist in their higher self. They want to be informed and, whatever, educated, wise, whatever. But you have to be able to, don't just take information from one source. You have to be able to, take information and knowledge from multiple different sources and then form your own opinion based on the information that you're presented with, And I think today, sometimes people can get caught up sometimes in miscommunication or misinformation where they're not willing to do the research behind it, if you see what I mean. They might watch something on YouTube, let's say, for example, and think because they've watched something and it sounds right or it sounds factual that it's the gospel, if you see what I mean. It sounds right, it looks right.
And they can waste their time watching it.
Yeah, and then when they and then start talking to people about it, trying to tell people about it, when they actually haven't even done any research behind the actual topic or whatever it is they were actually watching, to say without 100% certainty that it is true, if you see what I mean. You can't just be walking around telling people stuff and be trying to preach shit to people or trying to give people information or knowledge if it's not, if it's not the truth, if you see what I mean. You've got to be spot on with your shit, if you see what I mean.
I think the internet's given everyone opportunities.
Oh, for sure. For sure, yeah.
Not everyone, but
well, let's look at social media today. Talking about opportunities, look at how many people today that might not have any quote unquote per se talents or gifts or any kind of like work acumen behind them or whatever, but somehow through the use of social media, whether it be Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, or whatever the case may be, they've managed to become very successful and to accumulate a lot of wealth and a lot of success and kind of fame, I guess, to a degree as well, through the use of the internet, through the use of the tools that have been provided to them alongside the internet, taking advantage of these different tools. And you've got people who are social media bloggers or social media influencers, and you hear about all these kind of different things today where these people are just making money literally through, they've managed to generate a certain amount of following, or whatever the case may be, on different platforms. And because they've got a certain amount of following, they've got brands and stuff that are willing to pay them money to advertise their products, or to do like brand deals with them to promote their clothing, or whatever the case may be. And they make money from different companies, you know, posting photos wearing their clothes or their jewellery, or whatever the case may be, you know, or, you know. So there's a lot more avenues today to make money through the internet, if you see what I mean. You know, it's not like how it was back in the day where people just had to go and get a job, like a physical job, and work, you know, go to 9 to 5 every day, you know, or start your own business kind of thing, and that was it kind of thing, like a restaurant or that kind of business, you know, like a clothes store or that kind of business. But today, it's made it to where people can have multiple streams of income through the internet. They can have a 9 to 5, but at the same time, during the week, as soon as they finish the work, they're going and, you know, they're selling stuff online. If you see what I mean, they're making profits, buying something online, reselling it for a profit. If you see what I mean, and posting a profit every day. Yes, so they got their little business on the side, and they're making money on the side. So just offer 2 or 3 hours a day on top of their other job. If you see what I mean.
Yeah, I mean you could be stick in the middle of nowhere, right, and be on the internet.
Yeah.
And make a good business.
You could, yeah, it's true.
Somehow, you know.
It's very true. Yeah.
Or you know, like, you know, YouTube is great, I think, for everyone to make their own videos, or, you know, whether it's cooking, woodwork, or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. You know. It's just because it's like there's certain people that just are able to find that niche, that kind of like niche thing that they do, like you said, like they zone in on one particular thing. So if they decide they're going to start a channel about music, they make it about music. They make it about fashion, it's about fashion. If it's about cooking, food, whatever, it's about that. If it's about something else, you know. There are some people out there that have become very successful doing it. I think it's just the people who are more interesting and more who are people who are able to put it together well as well, who are able to film and edit their videos well, and and be consistent with their content, and do it in a good way where people find it interesting and engaging, if you see what I mean, you know. And also, of course, you want to get it in front of people, so you might have to have a little bit of a marketing budget as well, if you see what I mean, you know. If you're trying to, trying to become a very big brand or whatever the case may be, you know. But yeah, it's very powerful, the internet, you know. It's got, you know, and you know.
So yeah, it gives opportunity to anyone to become an artist.
It does, yeah.
You know.
And it's like the thing too with the internet today is like, not that I've never done any of this type of shit before myself personally. But we know there's things on the internet that exist, such as like the dark web and these kind of things that you hear about, or have like watched documentaries about on YouTube or whatever the case may be, where you can literally buy anything on the internet today as well. Well, like people are buying all sorts of, whether it be, people can buy all sorts. People are buying illegal stuff online. People are doing all sorts of shit, mate. Like literally online. Like it's like, you know, like, you know, it's, you know. It's a very powerful tool. It's just how it's used, you know. It's, you know.
So I look at the internet as like a huge diary. You know, and everyone, even including me, wherever I go on my Facebook page, and wherever I do, whatever I write, it's kind of making a record of that.
Yeah.
You know, but I can delete it, obviously. You know, on the page and rub it out. You know, but it's a diary. You know, and as I say, sort of like, every hour that goes by, everyone around is taking photographs, aren't they, on their mobiles or whatever, and they're uploading them on the
internet. Yeah.
Every second, you know, everybody that's doing artwork right now, you know, not everyone, but they share it on the internet, you know, and so much information's getting shared, you know, uploaded every minute.
Yeah.
You know, musicians uploading their songs every
minute
that goes by.
Every minute.
Right, yeah. You know, like tomorrow, the internet's going to be a bit bigger.
Yeah.
A bit older as well.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know how.
Think about all the internet data.
Yeah.
You know, you were saying last time the data.
Yeah, you think like
on a global
YouTube,
scale.
for instance, yeah.
Yeah.
You know how many films get uploaded every day.
Yeah, to YouTube alone.
Then you think about how do they get the space to upload so much, you know, they must have so many hard drives, millions
That's
of
what
them.
I'm saying, they must have these large, very large, powerful hard drives that have like, you know.
It's phenomenal to me, you know, how they do it all in a funny way, you know, and yeah, you know, it's you know, and that's not the only place, of course, YouTube, there's other places.
Oh yeah, for sure, you've got, like you said, all the social media websites as well too. The amount of people that, you know, use them every day, the amount of like traffic that each site generates every day, how many photos are posted, how many videos are posted, how many reels are posted, all sorts of different stuff, you know. So yeah, it's endless, you know. Like you said, every second there's someone taking a photo and uploading it, you know.
Yeah, you know, and it's like a market for porn as well.
Yeah, true. There's a lot of porn and shit. I was going to say a large percentage of the internet. We must look that up after the show actually, because I'm quite interested to find out how much of it. That's probably be quite an interesting fact actually. But a large percentage of the internet must be porn. Must be porn. I'm sure a large percentage of the internet is porn.
I reckon it's
probably
only,
sad to say.
I reckon it's 10%.
No, I think it's more than that. I think it's probably a lot more significant of an amount that me and you would probably even think, if you see what I mean, you know? I think it'd be much more than me and you probably would, you know, think it would be, you know? Yeah, it must be a significant amount, you know?
But then you've got music as well, right?
Yeah.
You know, like it's, you know, people used to buy their record or music on plastic, do you know what I mean?
But that's another industry it's affected, hasn't it? The music industry.
Oh yeah.
Everything, all the music today is all digital.
You know, like, I mean, films used to be on DVD, but people don't want to know, you know, people don't.
VHS start, DVD.
Yeah.
And now, like you said, it's,
you know, that's all in the bin in the kind of way today, isn't it? You know, people don't really want to buy DVDs anymore, they're online.
Everyone's got their subscriptions to different platforms, whether it be Netflix, Amazon Prime, you know, all these
they're still selling DVDs today, aren't they? But
they still do, yeah, because there are people out there that still watch and collect. You have got DVD collectors, people who, that's kind of one of their passions, is to collect DVDs and have like their DVD room, you know, kind of like their cinema room with all these DVDs everywhere, you know.
Yeah, you walk into a room and there's DVDs everywhere.
Well, I saw it actually because years ago when I was still living out in the Caribbean, yeah, my mum was working for this guy, basically, because my mum was used to managing like properties and stuff like that, like hotels and that kind of business, that kind of work. This guy who had quite a bit of money had to travel quite a lot for work and that, and he'd asked my mum to manage his property. And one day she took me onto one of his properties because she had to go there for work or whatever. And this guy, that's one of his rooms. He had like a bloody, you know, huge mansion or whatever. And one of the rooms in there was like a movie room, like a cinema room, huge telly, like a huge surround sound with telly, etc. You know, pop, you know, everything else you need. You know, sweets, drinks, food, whatever. And literally every cubby hole was filled with DVDs. You know, literally, like, you know, like there must have been thousands in there. Literally, the whole, going around the whole four walls of the room. If you see what I mean, probably as large as this room here.
So I've done removals, alright, before, you know, and I've been in so many different people's houses, you know, moving people here to there, you see what I mean? And, and gone so many different places that, you know, that I've seen.
You've probably seen it all yourself.
I've kind of seen everything, not everything.
Not everything,
I've not seen everything, nobody's seen everything.
No, I know what you mean.
I've seen a lot.
A lot.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I moved this guy, he lived in Devon, right, and he lived sort of like in a big mansion, alright, which was an old church, it was an old building, whatever, but he used to work for the BBC.
Oh, okay.
You know, and he was a sound engineer, and he had all these tapes.
Yeah.
It was all in one room, Mark, you know, and it took us a day just to box them all up.
Wow.
We were there for a week.
Wow.
This removal.
Yeah, wow.
You know, honestly.
He must have paid a pretty penny, mate, for that removal.
I'm talking about these tapes, you know. He was a sound, I mean, these tapes, each one of them, alright, had like a label on it.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Birds. Yeah. You know, do you know what I mean?
It must have all been.
This room was like, it's a big room, honestly.
Yeah, yeah.
And he had all this sound.
I can imagine he must have been where.
Yeah, but he was a sound person for the BBC, do you know what I mean? So, you know, like if they wanted to make a production of some sort,
Yeah.
he'd put all the sounds to it, do you know what I mean?
He'd be the
All
one that...
the tapes, to, you know, I need some birds,
Yeah.
you know, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know, but yeah.
He'd be the music, the sound.
But he must have got paid well, because he's in such a beautiful house.
Oh, yeah, for sure,
And
mate.
also it took us, you know, I think nearly a week to move him out, if you know what I mean.
I was just going to say, it's probably, that must have been an expensive move,
Yeah,
mate, that's for sure.
I think the BBC paper out.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? I don't know. It's just crazy.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, the internet's changed the world in a big way. Just like things do, you know, like I think like when they invented cars, that changed the world in a big way, didn't it? Do you know what I mean? And when they've invented mobiles.
Oh yeah, that's yeah. There's certain things over time that like you said, created changes.
You know, but what ways has it changed the world? You know, like I say, sometimes I see school kids or something, alright, and they're just walking down the street.
Yeah.
And if they've got a mobile around, they're not talking to each other.
Yeah.
You know, like you used to.
A lot less social interaction going on.
Yeah, so it's sort of like, it's made our world in a different dimension in a funny way.
But we're more connected than ever, excuse me, via the internet and online, social media, but we're more disconnected today in a way than ever as well. Because like you said, you know, a lot of people, like you said, sometimes you'll get on a bus, you get on a train, you'll just be walking along, whatever, everyone's just staring at their phone, you know what I mean? It's just like, you know, everywhere you go it's the same thing pretty much. People are just staring at their phone, it's just the same, you know. So yeah, it's kind of, it's, you know, it's, you know,
I mean,
it's got pros and cons, like we were talking about earlier. You know, it has affected, you know, social interaction, you know, like everyday, you know, communication and stuff. Like you've got a lot of people, especially a lot of the younger generation, struggling more so with social skills and social, you know, just, you know, communicating and stuff, because they're so used to everything being online, you know, not used to talking to another person or you know.
I mean, it's like shutdown as well, you know. That kind of did something too, didn't it? In a funny way, you know, where people don't want to be close to each other, you know, things like that. And some people took it all quite seriously, you know. And you know, a lot of people died because of it, didn't they? You know, because of they got scared.
Yeah.
You know, probably had a heart attack because they're fearing that they were going to get this flu.
Yeah.
You know, whatever. You know, but I think it's changed the world in a big way, you know, but that shutdown, without the internet, you know, in a funny way, the internet, like, you can still say hello to your mum and things, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
But can you imagine if we didn't have no internet?
Yeah, it's true.
Or no electric, in a funny way, you know?
Yeah.
You know, like...
Mate, if the internet...
And the shutdown, alright? What would happen then if we couldn't say hello to each other?
If the internet went down and we still had electric, then we'd still be alright. But it would still, just the internet being down alone, for one day alone. Imagine if the internet went down for one day alone, the amount of transactions that would affect.
It causes chaos, doesn't it?
It will cause chaos, absolute chaos, mate. Because imagine how many transactions take place online every single day, worldwide. 8 billion people. One day, everything shut off.
Yeah.
Business, can you imagine, mate? Imagine if that happened for mate, if that happened for a few days running, mate, there'd be stock markets that would be crashing.
Yeah, but I think somebody, you know, personally, I think somebody's got the power to do it all, right? If they got the power to shut all down the shops,